And I got back to El Paso and a little lost and confused, didn't know what to do. Ended up just doing a couple little jobs here and there, nothing big and major. Dealing with a lot of issues from the experience from Desert Storm. And there was a lot of dark times there. We had the VA available to us, but we were always taught and told not to use it unless we needed it. So ended up dealing with a lot of issues, a lot of depression, a lot of anxieties with alcohol. That was my vice back then. And when I did get back from that, I was really close to my brother at the time. And a year later, he ends up passing away. So to compound everything else going on, I'm dealing with that. So a lot of it was a lot of alcohol.
Well, folks, welcome again to another edition of There Is More. There is more. And we say that because there's more to who you are than what your name is and what your profession may be, or what kind of car you drive, or what school you went to. There's more to who we are that really is part of the inside of us, how we think, how we feel. And that's what this is about, just to discover the there is more part of some very interesting people. And one of those very interesting people is my friend and teammate here at Alamo City, Dano Melendrez.
Yes, sir.
Shake your hand and welcome.
Thank you,
Dano,
Pastor.
bless you. And I just, I always I enjoy hearing more of what your background has been and more of what you're looking for in the future. You always got that adventure streak in you, but a problem solver. Dano has been a Marine, and so I want you to just talk a little bit how we got from when you first came here, got into this world, to where we are today. Where were you born? Here?
I was born in California, a little suburb of LA, La Mirada, California. My parents were living there when I was born. Grew up there. I remember some of the younger stuff that we used to go out and do there. Then we ended up moving to Corona, California, another small suburb of Corona, Riverside area. And that's kind of where my upbringing was, all the way up until about sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
All California, enjoying the weather. That was back in the 70s, 80s. I was born in 1970.
What years did that have been, and what was it like to be a teenager or?
It was the best. That time frame was so much fun. We explored, we went out, we did all kinds of stuff. And
were you close to the beach? Were you ever close to?
We were probably about an hour and a half from the beach, an hour and a half from all the different beaches. So we would go there every now and then, but just our small area of where we grew up, we had a lot of adventure time. I grew up with BB guns, so we would obviously go out and have fun with that. We grew up with ATVs, bicycles, so a lot of outdoor activities back then. A little bit different now, but that's kind of some of the upbringing that we had back then.
How large were the schools that you went to? Any idea?
Our elementary school, we would walk to it. It was kind of in the neighborhood, not very large, and that went up to, I think it was 6th grade, and then from there we would go to a junior high school, and that was 7th to 9th.
Yeah.
And then our high school was a sophomore to senior. So I did attend sophomore in California. And that summer of my sophomore year, my parents decided to move to El Paso, Texas.
Wow.
Big culture shock.
I bet. How many in the family? How many brothers and sisters?
One older sister, then I was next in line, and then 2 younger brothers. We ended up losing one of my younger brother, the younger one from me, in a car accident his senior year of high school.
Oh my goodness.
In El Paso.
In El Paso.
Yeah.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
a really rough time.
Oh, I bet.
He was a great person, great personality, very athletic. He was number 3 running back in the city of El Paso, number 5 for the state of Texas.
Wow. Good
during
gracious.
his senior year.
Oh my goodness. So when was the car wreck? Was it during the fall of his senior year, or was it later?
He was scheduled to graduate, so it was still
in the spring.
It was in the spring. He was still attending school. He had enlisted in the Air Force. He was going to play for the Air Force Academy.
Really?
Full scholarship. So it was a very hard hit to the family to lose him.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Goodness. So that's El Paso.
That's El Paso. That's family unit.
Okay.
And little by little, my sister moved to San Antonio. I followed her probably about a year and a half after I got out of the military. Senior year of high school, I didn't know what to do. I had a very, very persuasive recruiter.
Oh, you did?
And those guys are good. Those guys are good. He would surprise me at a store or while I'm eating pizza somewhere.
That's a Marine.
Yes,
Marine
sir.
recruiter.
Marine recruiter. So I finally went ahead and just signed the papers and said, I'm done. Don't bug me anymore.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw him after I signed was the morning of when I was shipping out. Yeah.
Well, what about that? What about the Marines in those days?
Those were fun days. I had a lot of good experiences. I had a lot of tough and hard experiences, a lot of growing up that I was able to do. I went in 1 month after I graduated high school.
Really?
So not a whole lot of time to go out and do anything other than 4 weeks of summer, and then I was off.
How many years were you in?
I served 4 years. 4 years. And that was from 88 to 92. Back then, everything was nice and calm. No hints of any kind of conflicts coming around. So it was a good thing for me to do. There wasn't much to do in El Paso other than get in trouble. So it was a good plan for me to pursue. After I think my 3rd year of being in the Marines, I had orders to move to Hawaii.
Really?
And it was going to be a great time. I could see myself under the palm trees, looking good. I knew what day I was moving. And then Saddam Hussein decided to invade Kuwait. Those orders went away, and I had new orders to go into Saudi Arabia.
Really? So you were there, you were in Saudi for...
I was in Saudi. I was part of Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. It was one of the first combat missions and conflicts that we had in a long time. So we weren't very prepared for it. We were out there in our green camouflage uniforms out in the middle of the desert. So we stuck out like pickles.
Wow.
So it was difficult to do what we were supposed to do and how to do it. A lot of unorganization from the higher ups and so on. But got out of there all in one piece and came back home, finished my 4 years and said, I'm done with this. This didn't go the way that I planned it, which was very naive of me.
What was your assignment with the Marines?
I was attached to a Marine aircraft unit. Our unit was probably about 30 miles away from the Kuwaiti border, Iraq border. The unit that we were in support of was attack helicopters, reconnaissance aircrafts. So we weren't like really into it, but we were far enough away for Scud missiles. We were far enough away from that action, but we were always on alert. We always had to be locked and loaded anywhere we went. We had our gas masks with us.
Wow.
So it was a very trying time mentally, more so than anything as well too.
How many were in your unit? How many were a part of the group Any idea that when y'all shipped out, how many were?
So the unit that I was with was a support unit of
Yeah.
the other units. And then we went out in waves. Our whole unit didn't go out. So it was just chunks of personnel that would go out when we went out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very big. We didn't travel very big. We traveled light. We traveled smaller aircrafts and stuff like that sometimes.
Okay, so that was 4 years, and
4
the
years.
last year.
Yeah, last year got a little hairy. A lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot of promises made. It's interesting that when you're in a position like that, and there's no answers, there's no way outs, you don't see anything. You look for an answer. And for me, from a young age, my mother always got us to church. So she had always gave us that seed and watered it, and I knew that there was an answer there for me for anything that I needed. And I leaned on that, and I prayed on that, and I trusted, and I had faith, and I was able to get back home in one piece.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. We really want to spare those we love from as much heartache, difficulty, stress, frightening situations as we can. But the bottom line is we end up really pursuing the Lord more on our own.
Yeah.
When we were in a situation that, encouragers are a good ways away, and we have no way out of this other than the Lord bringing us through. And so it's kind of a mixed blessing when we pray, Lord, strengthen my kids, grow my kids up strong in you.
Yeah.
Well, there may be some things that they will need to go through, just like we've needed to go through for that to be tightened up.
And back then, which was 89, 90, we didn't have the technology that we have now.
Yeah.
So there was really no support for any of us out there. Mail didn't work. We didn't get it for who knows how long. So there was no real support system. There was no cell phones, or no internet, no Skype, stuff like that. So it was very trying being out there. So luckily I had that instilled in me, in that belief, and that's what I leaned on.
Yeah, well, okay, so that's Marines, that's getting you back out of the Kuwaiti border, Then what? And when you get back here?
Oh gosh, then I got back to El Paso, and a little lost and confused, didn't know what to do. Ended up just doing a couple little jobs here and there, nothing big and major. Dealing with a lot of issues from the experience from Desert Storm. And there was a lot of dark times there. We had the VA available to us, but we were always taught and told not to use it unless we needed it. So ended up dealing with a lot of issues, a lot of depression, a lot of anxieties with alcohol. That was my vice back then. And when I did get back from that, I was really close to my brother at the time. And a year later, he ends up passing away. So to compound everything else going on, I'm dealing with that. So a lot of it was a lot of alcohol, dealing with some gangs and stuff like that, kind of try to find family structure.
How old are you now?
At that point, 22 years old, 22, 23 years old. A lot of drinking to the point where I'm coughing up blood. A little too excessive, but that was our answer, our medicine at the time. And that was kind of a really good wake-up call for me, like, hey, this path that I'm on is not leading to anywhere. I had friends my age that were already going to the hospital with cirrhosis of the liver, just because that's what we were doing at the time. We didn't know what PTSD was at the time, so we just kind of medicated with alcohol on our own.
Okay, so the PTSD, that would be post-traumatic
stress disorder.
Stress disorder.
Yes, sir.
Were there things that you went through and saw and those was gone?
There was, and the alcohol made it go away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, but there was enough, and I'm not asking you to go into detail on that, but you were not just loading bullets in planes or putting terror.
Correct.
And there were other things that you were around or
Correct.
saw or heard about or exposed to.
Correct.
That affected you.
Yes.
Strongly.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff we were always taught to bury it, put it away, deal with it. Don't be weak. You know, we're Marines. We're a different breed.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and that's how we dealt with it. Until, you know, later on throughout the years, we just kind of learned that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
That does not work at all.
It'll come back.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So from there, I ended up moving to San Antonio, Texas.
Your sister, you had a sister here.
My sister was living here, came out here to visit her. By this time, I was helping out friends with entertainment, lighting, concerts and stuff. It was something that really piqued my interest. And it was a good friend of mine that introduced me to that. And
while you were in El Paso?
While I was in El Paso.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the doorway to getting me to San Antonio. I started learning how to work audiovisual equipment, doing concerts and stuff in El Paso. And my sister was in San Antonio. She notified me that the church that she was attending here in San Antonio was going to have a big church play, and it was going to be about a week-long play, and they needed some help. So she volunteered me. She said, hey, my brother knows how to do this stuff.
How about that?
A friend of mine and myself put some equipment in a U-Haul truck. We came out to San Antonio, and we helped out this church to work on their presentation and helped them out with the play.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? And that started the ball rolling.
That started the big ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
So during that time that we were here, the pastor of that church was very happy with the work that we did for his play. He offered us assistance if we were to move out from El Paso, move to San Antonio. He offered to pay for our housing, and we would be able to work at the church a couple days out of the week in trade, and as long as we helped out at the church. That was the deal that was presented to us.
You took it?
I told him that I would get back home as my first daughter was about to be born in 2 weeks. And once that happened, I would head back. So I did take the deal. Went back home. My oldest daughter now, Zoe, she was born. About 2 weeks later, we packed up a U-Haul, moved all of our belongings, and moved to San Antonio.
How about that?
Showed up straight to the church, talked to the pastor, and I said, we're here. We're ready to move in. And he said, wow, well, that's great, but there was a misunderstanding. We're not going to be able to pay for anything. No. It was just an offer we can help you get into an apartment and so on. And I said, brother, I have a U-Haul with my 2-week-old daughter in the truck here. So that was not very, very pleasing.
So when was that? Just general time?
July. That was the end of July, beginning of August.
Of what year?
Of 98.
Of 98.
Of 98. Okay. Yeah.
Well, there's been a good bit of time to pass since then to now, and you made it. Y'all made it through that.
We made it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We made it. I understood that I couldn't lose faith in God. It wasn't a godly thing that had happened, although everything went bad, put us in a bad situation. It was a person, it was a man of flesh that made a mistake, that said something that it wasn't true. It was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I learned that lesson. I still went ahead and helped out that church for like another year and a half.
Wow.
With my services of what I knew and what I can do. So I was still there helping them out.
Well, and it didn't it didn't cause you to pursue another something to give your time to. I mean, you still, by then you felt solidly fixed at the place of the technical aspects of putting broadcast together, television, I don't even know how to describe all that you do. It's just a conglomerate
Yes.
in fact, the reason we're able to even do these podcasts is because of your expertise and background and the team that you've gathered around you to do it. And it's an amazing thing. But you had to settle into that and know that's how you're wired. And that's what you'd enjoy doing.
It took me a little bit after that situation here in San Antonio with that pastor. I needed to pick up some kind of work, so I started working construction work, doing sheetrock, metal framing with one of the church members. He had his own company, and it was what I needed to do to make a living. And it worked, but I still had this creative side, this side of audiovisual, technical production. I still had that always there. That never went away. Eventually, I got to a point where the construction just wasn't working out anymore. I had to follow this, and I talked to my wife at the time, and I said, I know this is crazy, but the construction work just isn't fulfilling anything for me. I know it's bringing a check in, but I have a couple opportunities where I can pursue this, and it's crazy because how am I going to make a living doing this? Oh. And she's been extremely supportive throughout the whole time. She said, "Hey, if that's what you feel like you need to do, then do it, and I support you, and we'll do it." And I did it from that point on. I've been doing this, and it's been providing for me and my family.
Well, then you've built just a real reputation, Dano, in the area among not only ones who need professional, skilled, integrity help to put on large programs and so forth, but you've also developed a real reputation with ones who want to help you in what you do, that can fulfill particular technical aspects of the thing. You have the big picture, you can bring that together, but you've just been able to pull together some really skilled guys, to work with you.
I've learned from other people on what not to do and how not to treat people in this industry that we're in, that we do, the professional audiovisual industry. We've learned how to treat people and how not to treat people. Mm-hmm. And I've been on the other side of how not to treat people. I try to be professional to everybody, give them the respect that they deserve in what they do. I try to be patient. I try to teach. And it's came a long way, because in this industry, there's a lot of people that don't do that. And they will do whatever they can to go against that and to go against you. Luckily, thank God, I've had nothing but good experiences with people, and I think that goes a long way, because this is a very small industry. You can run into people out of New York, out of Canada, and they know about you, they hear about you, and luckily for me, it's always been good stuff.
Well, you reap what you sow. The scripture speaks of that. God's not mocked. That whatever a man sows, that's what he's going to get back. And it has been your heart. That's just how you're wired, to want to sow with integrity and kindness, and to bless people instead of just trying to take from them. What are some of the things that you've enjoyed doing the most? Like, I know y'all have been involved with San Antonio Rodeo. You've done, what are some of the things that have just really gotten you going when you get into
when it comes to the work in the industry, I really enjoy doing live events, live concerts, different types of genres of music. Christian markets. We did a lot of work for certain churches and organizations that would bring in religious concerts, and those are great. I love doing the other stuff. We do work for the San Antonio Spurs. We do work for the San Antonio Rodeo, for UTSA Athletics. Anything and everything that we can do, or that I can do as part of helping somebody out and helping their event out is what I enjoy. That's just work-wise.
Yeah.
Work-wise is work, but it's enjoyable and it's fun. Not one day is exactly the same as the other. And I think that's what keeps us going in this industry. Recreational-wise, that's a different story. Recreational-wise, I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy water sports. I enjoy being outdoors. It's just something that that keeps me going, keeps me young.
Do you have a systematic approach to trying to keep up with technologically what's out there, and if something down the pike that could be tried that would be helpful in what you're doing? Or are you pretty well you're pretty much at peace with what you got and what you're working with?
In this industry, everything changes on a daily basis. There's not one day that anybody in this industry can say that they are up to speed. This technology changes so often, so fast, that it's hard to keep up. Luckily, I surround myself with a lot of good friends and technicians and people that do more than I do, and I get to learn from them as well too. So I think that's one of the things that keeps us going, is that there's not going to be any stale time. There's not going to be a point in time where things are going to plateau and you're gonna be okay with where you're at.
Yeah. Well, you really had, and Dano and his team have been such a significant part of what we are able to do here at Alamo City, and the broadcasts that we tape on Sunday, the Wednesday nights, these podcasts. You guys have just been so integral in putting that together. In fact, you all have had to school me on this thing of the podcast idea, the conversations, and I've been really amazed at how folks seem to really enjoy listening to the rest of the story and the lives of folks that are interesting. And I just so appreciate that. We would not be able to do any of the things that we are doing on a regular basis if it were not for you and your team putting that together. And Dano oversees all of that, and very grateful. I'm impressed. I still have a hard time turning my phone on and off. And then when these guys come in and everything's set and ready to go, it's amazing. And from this place, Dano, really to be able to have to some degree a touch of the world, not the nation, the Texas, the nation, but around the world. And I'm amazed at that. Grateful, very grateful for that. If as we kind of wrap this up, if you have something that you would want to say to a person about what, knowing that person that you would care about or have some relationship with is going to go through some tough times. We live long enough. There's going to be, Jesus would say, in this world you're going to have tribulation. You're going to have it. Yeah. It's just a matter of when, not if, and we don't always know the variety. But what would you say, just from your own experience, is essential in order to keep going on with a direction that you feel like is who you are? I think that's very significant that your wonderful wife said, if it's in you to do, if it's what you will make you happy, will fulfill you, then let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you, along those lines, just because there probably could be some folks listening, I can stay in this job and I got the paycheck, I got the medical, maybe dental, but it's not really feel like it's who I am.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say to that?
I would recommend prayer. and I know that sounds very common in the church market per se. Everybody says that, but the reality is that if you don't pray, you're never going to get answers. If you don't pray, you're never going to get doors opened for you. A lot of doors closed for me a couple years ago, and it was hard for me when that happened. But through prayer, through listening to God and trusting in Him, a lot of doors opened up for me. And I wouldn't even call them doors. I would call them sliding doors, bay doors, garage doors.
Right.
Pray, listen. This is a life that God has given us. We can't hold ourselves back. I had faith. I took it. My wife supported me. A couple years ago, when my life changed from job situations, had the same faith, the same prayers, answered that, pursued it. If I wouldn't have, I would be stuck in the same spot that I was. And looking back at that now, it was not a good place to be. I had no growth. I had no adventure. I was limited to what I could do. So I would say it's one life. Follow God, chase it. Chase it, chase your dream, chase what you like to do. If you could go home and still smile and be happy, you're doing good. If you go home and you're tired and you're upset and work was just horrible, then you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Well, and there's a determination factor that you're just going to keep going.
Yes, sir.
You can't. We can't stop. We can't quit. When our heart's in it, I think that's just so important. That if when your heart is in something, pursue that.
Yes, sir.
Rather than negating the reality of that. That's in me to do, but for whatever reason I'm afraid to, or it doesn't make me. No, if that you keep coming back to that longing in your heart that you wanted to do the audiovisual stuff, you wanted and the production and the creation, you mentioned it, the creative side of you, that you're in a place now where that can grow. But if you're all the time under some ceiling and somebody else is telling you what you have to do, there's a part of you that will never will grow. And there's a part of you that dies, a part of us that dies when we're not able to pursue the way in which we're really wired. And I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm grateful that we have that connection, that opportunity to do what we do together. That's and I appreciate all that you've shared. I appreciate your service for our country, and then the journey since then to bring you to San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Dano Melendrez, folks, just such an interesting character and a great friend and great brother. And I thank you for taking the time to be with us. Join us next time, folks, as we do another one of these. There is more. There is more. You would see Dano and you'd read his resume and you could do some things, but there would be some things that you'd never know about who he really is if you hadn't heard him share that with us today, and I appreciate that. Join us next time, and we'll look forward to meeting you then. God bless you.